We live right now. I'm going to play a pre-recorded video here that I did, I think, day before yesterday or yesterday to get us started. Here we go. Oops, wrong video. Hold on. All right. Apparently that didn't work, but it's okay. I'll start over from the beginning. So this is the Deacon Talks. Some of you know me from my blog talk radio days. Kung Fu CJ is the new nickname given to me by my South Georgia car club friends. And Jack is known by my business associates. Back in 2010, I got into foreclosure advocacy. And I went all the way to California to get certified or to learn basically how to be an underwriter and point out federal laws within the mortgage documents, especially the 1003 and the deed or the security deed or deed of trust and the note. And when learning these things, I would put together forensic audits, securitization audits, analysis reports, and even affidavits showing, pointing out the fraud in people's loans. Well, we're back. We're back at it again. In 2010, under the Obama administration, all this was put to a halt. And what happened was a lot of homeowners were fighting their foreclosures because they were put in loans that they knew they shouldn't have had. And they would come to a person like me to find the evidence. Well, at a certain point in time in his presidency, he tried to he tried to press the reset button. They dismissed all the homeowners' cases and everything like that, and we started telling them to go to federal court. Stop going to your county and city courts. Go federal with your complaint because your violations are federal violations. So that's what we did. And in 2013, you know, 2.5 years after everything hit the fan, all of a sudden I started seeing securitization being done. Those are asset backed securities placed in either private or public trust and basically um, backing blue chip stocks on the stock market. So this is 2013. I've moved to Georgia by now, and I'm getting people reaching out to me. They're reaching out to me because I know this information. I have this information. I'm talking to lawyers. I'm talking to legal counsel. I'm talking to homeowners. I'm even talking to people who are renters. And they've seen all the paperwork coming to the house and they don't know what to do. How do I stop from being evicted? And I'm giving them answers. So the first part of this that I want to go over with, because I don't want to do it all in one video, I want to keep you entertained. And the first thing is I want to go into is the first document that you fill out and sign. That would be this. Probably can't see it because of the background. It is the Uniform Residential Loan Application, also known as the 1003. In this document, it basically gives way to certain information that would lead people to believe that their loan has been securitized. So I'm looking at this application. I got the homeowner's name, his social security number, years of schooling, date of birth, everything like that. It's a free, simple um, loan. It is a fixed loan, 4.875% for 30 years. There's nothing special till I look up a little further and I see a checkbox for FHA. If you have a FHA or VA loan, it is 100% securitized in a private trust run by Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, and Freddie Mae. These are government institutions, and they're making money. Okay, and so with that, I would then try to find out. Okay, well, where would this loan, or where would this loan be at? And so basically, I would start digging. I'll start with the note, the security note. I would start with, right? And in the note, I'm looking for certain numbers. There's a case number, there's a loan number, but I'm looking for an MERS number. The other abbreviation is a MIN number, Mirrors Identification Number. And it's long. It's long, it's almost like 20 numbers. This number is associated with an outside source that holds, which holds the note. It lets you know who the trustee is. It lets you know what trust is in once you plug in the social from the 1003. That's one thing. Now, you would say, well, they can do that. They can do this. They can do that. Yeah, they can. However, in this loan packet that I got from my friend, and I did a securitization audit on it and a forensic audit, there was no TILA or RESPA documents in this loan packet that the loan or the title company gave him. Sent it to him, registered mail. However, those two documents are missing. That's a red flag right there. The truth in lending statement is basically showing you the timeline of you making all 360 payments. That's what it does. It shows you, it breaks down. It'll show if there's a break in the interest rate, or a break in the escrow, and it points out, if there's a change as far as your monthly payment, what it used to be and what it will be. That document is not in this packet. The RESPA document. Oh, TILA means Truth in Lending Act. RESPA means Real Estate Settlement Practice Act. This document shows you or tells you how often that the lender sells its loans. And it even also has to identify if there's a collection agency who will be collecting the payments, right? Well, we already know it's FHA, so it's in a private trust, so it's got to be a debt collector. Most of the time, it's not a bank. It's a pseudo financial institution, and it takes your payments and send those payments to the trust. So it normally would come on, this is how they slick you. They send you a payment letter to the borrower. No, the rest of the page will give you how often that lender sells the loans. And so if it you get a RESPA letter and it says this lender sells its loans 25% of the time, that's okay. If you get one that says this lender sells its loans 75% to 100% of the time, that's a red flag. In his case, the lender is RMX Financial Corporation, doing business as Majestic Home Loan. He even has the NMLS number. They're out of California. But highlighted for the customer is for them to make their payments to CIS Financial Services, Inc., out of Hampton, Alabama. In my research, I would basically look up these companies. They're nothing more than debt collectors. They're not banks. They're not your lien holder. Okay. I would then I would go into the security deed or deed of trust. This is what's recorded down at the courthouse, and it explains to you um, what kind of loan it is. It makes it public. And unfortunately, because all property is public information, it has the bank's name, the lender, right? How much the loan is. It has your name as the borrower, has the dates. Um, it also would have, remember MERS, it would have that number also on the front page of this document, just like the note. In this case, because I'd never seen this before when I was doing it between 2010 and 2015, this loan is from 2019. It has the MERS phone number. So you could get audible information. It has the on this loan. It also has the title company up here, Joel Osteen and Jones or whatever it is out of Hinesville. It has the FHA case number on here. I'm not gonna get into that because, like I said, I want to do like a 3-part series on this. I'm trying to see if I can get some people to come in and engage, ask questions, so I can answer them. And so I'm just doing this video just to prep you. So with the security instrument, you know, with the security instrument at the courthouse, and then the note. Now, in certain parts of the country, I'll pick Maryland. Your note after the loan is completed, and this is what I've been told by other people who have fought the state and got homes free and clear. Your note is destroyed if it's securitized. There's no more note. And what they say is all the loans are paid for by the investors when it's put into the trust. Like it could be 6 investors or 100 investors. All that money pooled together for your loan, which could be in a trust of 600 loans or 1,000 loans. Okay. And basically, they're counting on you making your payments. However, they have a fail safe. And that fail safe is the insurance that they put on each and every loan. Every investor is encouraged to put insurance on the loans. And you say, well, why? Why would they put insurance on the loans? The reason why they put insurance on the loans, because if it's in a subprime asset backed security, they know that 25 to 35% of those loans are going to go into default. And if they have insurance on those loans, guess how much money they get back? They get back what the house is worth. Then, if it's on their portfolio and they write it off, thanks to Bush Jr., you get $250,000, up to $250,000 for the debt that went into default. I'll get into the time frames and all that later because I want to do another video. The reason why they're allowing this to happen now or continue to happen is because they want the market to grow. So they want middle class people to buy houses. Well, they can't buy houses because in 2004 to 2008, you can get a house for you get a decent house for $125,000, $150,000. It's not like that now. I'm here in the dirty south of Georgia, and the house that I'm in right now is appraised at $190,000. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and a garage. Okay. Um, the whole thing in this concept of securitization of loans is to make money for the wealthy. What what is not happening at the closing table is that loan officer is, or that title clerk is not letting them know that their loan has been sold, because that would be in the RESPA documents. Your loan has been sold to ABC Asset Back Security 2025, uh, associated with Shaq Fu Snickens blue chip stock. They're not telling you this. And because they don't tell you that, that's a violation of RESPA. Okay. And you can sue them in court. I'll get to the court part and defenses and all that later. My information is old. However, doing this video and the next couple of videos, I'll be a little more up to date in your defenses, offenses, in reference to this. Because I truly believe that 80% of the loans that are done out here right now are securitized. And it may be 90%. Okay. If the people you're making your payments to are not the people that you got your loan from, your loan is securitized 95% of the time. The trustee of that trust It will vary. It could be Wells Fargo. You wonder why Wells Fargo is taking you to court to foreclose on your house? They're the trustee of the trust. Bank of America, you wonder who are they? Where they come from? Yeah, they're the they're the trustee of the trust. They going over top of the the um the debt collector that you've been making your payments to because your loan's in a trust. It's like they're not just double dipping, they triple dipping. They'll find a real estate agent, offer you a settlement to get out the house. They will offer you a short sale. And what will happen is the balance that's not paid off in the short sale, that go on your credit. But if you file bankruptcy chapter 7 and discharge all the debt, you can buy a house within 2 years versus the person who does a short sale, they might not be able to buy a house for 3 to 5 years. I'm giving you all this information because it's happening now. And as a believer, I'm bound to give the people the information they need to be ready, to be prepared, and to be on guard and be alert of what's coming down the pipe. I'm hearing a whole lot of people in foreclosure. I didn't get into it to get rich. I didn't make a whole bunch of money. I mean, a few years I averaged $10,000 a month, maybe three. However, I spent most of that money on getting information and treating my team, to lunch or dinner, because I can't do it without a team. But as far as giving you this information, I don't need my team. I need you to just listen and pull out your documents from your mortgage and start going through them. The other thing is that you have to know what your state is when it comes down to foreclosure. I am in Georgia. This is not a judicial state. And because this is not a judicial state, your neighbor could foreclose on you and you not even know about it. Says, how does that work? Easy. They file for foreclosure, right? They file for foreclosure, and then after they file for foreclosure, they have to post it. Got to make it public. They make your foreclosure public, right? Unfortunately, because you don't read the newspaper in your town, they'll publish it in another town, another state. And then when the time runs out, you now getting a summons to court saying that your house is going to be sold. Is going to be sold at the courthouse for foreclosure. People, I need you to pay attention to your mortgages, to your deeds, to your everything regarding your house. They now playing commercials of how people are stealing people's deeds and getting all the equity out of the house. When they tried to lock me up for doing what I was doing, I talked to a guy. I was in jail, a manual jail. It's a holding facility for the feds. And this guy was a stockbroker. He was an actual broker. And he so happened to let somebody use his brokerage to broker some deals, and they were shady deals. And because he was already on probation, he ended up going to jail, coming back to jail. violation of his probation. And he basically, it was 6 months. He was going to finish it out and come out. But I told him about what I did. He's like, we can create a company to protect people's mortgages. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea. I think we talked 2 nights in a row about it. Before the third night, they had already come to get him, but it was still in my mind. Now you hear about all of these companies. They pop up on your screen. You see them in commercials about protecting your mortgage from scammers. We'll talk about that later. We'll also talk about squatters and how squatters' rights are ancient old. They're ancient old thing. Basically, unused land, and then they come on the land and they cultivate the land, and then they find water on the land. They get water out the land, electricity out of the land, and then they go down to the courthouse and file what we call a warranty deed, saying that this is my property, this is the electric bill, the water bill, and it's on somebody else's property. But because that somebody else didn't get them off their property, they'll lose in court based on squatters' rights. See, what happened here, the squatter would place a lien on that property and put whatever amount on the lien that he wants. And he will basically say, either pay me this much amount of money or we just go to court. And then when you go try to sell a house or sell your property and there's this lingering lien on it, but I don't want to get into that just yet. We're not going to get into that. I'm just putting this out here because it's stuff that I know, and I want to put it on record so that people can protect themselves, not only from the banks, but from scammers, and people that have ill will for. So as I leave, I'll leave with one of my son's songs, because I'm about to take a flight and it's time to go.
Travel to London, Paris, Tokyo, Japan, go to New York, LA, Chi-Town, man, travel Vegas, Rome, Atlanta, know that I'm home. I'm internationally known. I'm international flow, bro. Feeling out like I made it, touch the ground, I'm shaking the pavement. Got these shows in various places, got these shorties all in my face. Tell that DJ, bring it back, if he don't, it's time to react. And this if throwing the stack with foreign chicks all in my flat. Couple thousand on the vacation, so the team feel like we made it. Tell Tim and Flex, drop a bomb on the bitch, them said it's your song. We been here shit all along, hey yo Flex, man, they was my bomb. Tell big boy I'm in the neighborhood with 40s and Jamaican chicks. London, Paris, Tokyo, Japan, go to New York, LA, Chi-Town, man, travel Vegas, Rome, Atlanta, know that I'm home. I'm internationally known. I'm international flow.
When that flight land, I'll be jet lagged. I ain't taking no pictures. Give me a Fiji water and your best weed. Roll it up in a swisher. Give me my time frame in the studio. Guaranteed that I'll meet it. And your best spot for them pretty walks. Down for up in this weekend. Take your to Panama in the Panamera. Use Panorama. I ain't got no ghostwriter, so pardon me and my bad grammar. Check these whores who checking me, and I promise you, you'll see a fleet of bad bitches. They nails done with red bottoms on they pretty feet.
Go to London, Paris, Tokyo, Japan, go to New York, LA.